What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning into another one of my videos. It has been a few days since I last recorded my last one, and I just want to keep the muscle going. Um, so this past week, actually, it's only Wednesday. It's my day off from work today, and I'm taking advantage of the time I have to basically just come on here and record a video. And so one thing I've noticed is that ever since I've been dedicating myself to a specific affirmation, piece of declaration, affirmation every morning and every night, I've seen it transform the way that I think, the way that I think about myself, how I relate to others, and it's been good. It's been good. I think, what I will say is that I've noticed a little bit of pushback from, like, a little bit of resistance, but I also recognize that I was starting to think that perhaps I should change my affirmation to be more fitting to like other people, or put in a little bit more like maybe it's too self-grandiose, maybe there's not enough empathy in there, and and then I was like, wait a minute, I did this last time and I lost the fire from doing that. The last time that I second guessed the affirmations or the identity, the ideal identity that I'm trying to create within myself, the last time that I questioned it, that I second guessed it, and I tweaked it to fit the comfort of other people, I stopped caring about it. I stopped caring about who I was creating, because it was no longer purely my manifestation. It was no longer purely something that I wanted. It was now tainted by the opinions of other people. It was now tainted by how I thought I needed to be to appease other people, that perhaps I could make both people happy. And meaning perhaps I can make myself happy and other people. Perhaps it would be better for me if I became the ideal version that people like to see in general. And fuck that. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with it because I've got this focus this week on desire, on really understanding desire and coming up with like the blueprints that people can read declarations that make sense for them, and that they don't feel ashamed or guilty about, that they understand that it's the inner parts of them calling them to be something new, calling them to be something more perhaps. And I need this to be I need this to be a very pure desire for me. It can't be tainted. It can't be uh, tweaked or molded by what I think other people would think of me if I were to become this specific person. Because what's happening right now is it feels as though I'm in that kind of trial period where you're growing, you're going up and up and up in that zone. And because it's new territory, it requires you to flex certain muscles, um, metaphorically speaking, that your external reality isn't yet accustomed to. And so that's what I'm seeing, because I believe that I really am taking on to this. I'm gonna see pushback. I'm gonna see resistance. You're gonna see resistance. But I push you. I'm gonna egg you on to not pay too much attention to that. In trying to like tweak it and like ease off the gas to make other people more comfortable with you or around you or with your views or anything like that, you're going backwards. You're not progressing in the direction that you're supposed to go. Perhaps there's a phase of your life where you have to be the bad guy, quote unquote. You're going to disrupt the environment. You're going to disrupt that field, and you're going to look like a nuisance. It's going to seem like you're the nuisance, like you're somebody who's coming in here and stirring things up and messing up the way we do things around here. You know what I mean? Like it's going to look that way to them. And you might even feel that way for a moment. Maybe you're strong enough to where you won't feel that at all. And the reason that's honestly not important whether you feel that or not, because it doesn't matter. That side of things is irrelevant to your expansion, to the expression of yourselves. And so let people be uncomfortable with you, let people be offended. All it is you're probably reflecting back to them a side of themselves that they wish they could embody and embrace themselves. They wish that they could embrace as well. And perhaps you can be somebody, and this is not a requirement. You are never going to be held responsible for somebody else's growth. Okay, never feel like you have to like bring everyone else with you, or to even justify your actions or your behavior, or never feel like you need to explain what it is that you're doing, or why you are acting a certain way, why you feel a certain way, why you think a certain way. You never need to justify any of those things. Just keep being yourself, keep expanding, keep expressing that ideal version. People, if they have questions, they can. But here's the thing, is like you should never go out of your way to do that, to appease other people. I work with some people right now that are kind of like that. They, we get customers, and I can see it. I see it because I'm there. I'm not blind, but I can see how people, when they get when they get uncomfortable, especially in like a customer scenario, when people get uncomfortable, when there's an air of attention, they retreat, they apologize, they try to make things right. But I'm telling you that the best way to make things right is not usually ever by apologizing, unless you did genuinely something wrong. But 9 times out of 10, people don't actually apologize because they did something wrong, but because they want the other person to forgive them, or to like bring the tension down. Apologizing is the least effective way of doing that. It's quick. It definitely like, it's kind of like a Hail Mary, like, oh, like I'm just gonna throw out an apology or a sorry to get things to kind of be all copacetic again. But those moments of uncomfortability and tension, and I learned this in sales, those moments are actually so valuable because they're an opportunity. They're an opportunity for you guys to understand each other better. They're an opportunity for you guys to cross more ground, because right there, that wrench in the system is showing you where the dissonance is, where the disconnect is. And if you're able to stand your ground in the uncomfortable setting of it, in that uncomfortable space, and show that you're okay with it, that you're not bothered by it, that perhaps right here there's a little bit of turbulence, a little bit of tension, but I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to see it through so that we understand each other, and that perhaps the thing that you need the most is not going to be amiss. You're not going to miss out on this opportunity just because I wasn't convicted enough, because my conviction wasn't strong enough. Because especially if I'm selling something, and I'm kind of like bringing it into sales, but I'm into sales, but it's also like I'm speaking kind of like, in kind of the broader sense of this concept, that, in a sales scenario, people will, they'll look to you for confidence. If there's a product they don't understand, if they start to feel anxious about making a certain move, you cannot be the first one to say, you know what, this probably isn't for you. You shouldn't be the first one if you identify that this is something that they need. It's actually your responsibility to make sure that they get it, even then. Like when you're in that space of where they're like, the customer's uncomfortable, you feel a little bit of tension, a little push, a little pullback, need to dig deeper. They actually want you to dig deeper. You can keep that eye contact, look into their eyes, and see that they just don't understand what it is yet. If you're fired up, but they're not fired up, right there's an obvious sign that they don't understand it the way that they need to for them to move forward with that decision. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys today. Hope you guys have a good one, and I'll see you guys in the next one.